There is a power within you, a force so absolute that it shapes the very fabric of your reality. It is not outside of you, not in the circumstances that surround you, but in the consciousness you embody. The world you see is nothing more than a reflection of the state you occupy. Change the state and the world must conform. You do not wait for proof, you do not beg for signs, you assume, you embody, and you walk in the certainty that all you desire is already yours. You do not hope for wealth, for love, for success. You live as though they are already a part of you, not with pretense, not with effort, but with the deep knowing that what you claim in mind must manifest in form. You do not chase, you do not grasp, you do not seek confirmation. You act from the end as the one who already possesses it. The world may call it delusion, but the world only sees the outer shell of things. The one who understands the law knows that all appearances are but shadows cast by the unseen. If you wish to be loved, you must walk as the one who is already adored. You do not need validation, for you carry within you the certainty of your worth. If you wish to be wealthy, you do not worry about lack, for the wealth is already yours in consciousness. You move, you speak, you think as one who has everything, not in arrogance, but in quiet confidence. For the one who truly has does not need to prove it. The feeling is the secret, the conviction, the unseen claim that draws all things into alignment. Your senses may tell you otherwise. They may whisper of lack, of absence, of limitation. But the senses are the servants of the mind, not its master. You do not react to what appears, you impose the truth of your assumption upon the world. You persist, unwavering, until what was once invisible becomes undeniable fact. You have already received all that you desire, you do not need permission to claim it. Walk as though you have it now, and reality must follow. Your reality is a reflection of your state of consciousness. Everything you see, experience, and encounter in your daily life is a direct manifestation of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold within. The world outside is not separate from you, but an extension of your inner world. Change how you see yourself, how you perceive your circumstances, and the world must shift in response. You are not a passive observer of reality, you are its creator. What you consistently accept as true within your mind shapes the conditions you experience. Most people believe that circumstances dictate their state of mind. They allow the external world to control how they feel, react, and live. If they see lack, they believe in lack. If they experience rejection, they assume they are unwanted. They wait for the world to change before they feel different. But this is an illusion. The world is only mirroring back what they are dominantly conscious of. The mind is the source, the world is the effect. The mistake is in thinking the effect has the power to change the cause. To truly understand this principle, you must reverse your approach to life. Instead of reacting to what is, you must determine within yourself what will be. Your inner world must take precedence over external conditions. The moment you accept a new state of consciousness as your truth, the world begins to shift in unseen ways to reflect it. You do not need to force change upon the outer world. You only need to persist in your new assumption, and reality will rearrange itself accordingly. Think of the world as a mirror. If you stand before a mirror with a frown, you cannot demand the reflection to smile first. You must change your expression, and only then will the reflection change. The same principle applies to life. If you desire abundance but hold on to thoughts of lack, the world will continue to reflect scarcity. If you wish to be loved but persist in feeling unworthy, you will attract situations that confirm that belief. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you who you are, in consciousness. This is why it is essential to become deeply aware of your dominant thoughts and emotions. Every moment you are shaping your reality by what you accept as true. If you wake up each day feeling defeated, expecting hardship, and doubting your own power, you will continue to experience situations that reinforce those feelings. But if you begin each day with the conviction that you are powerful, worthy, and abundant, the world will respond accordingly. It is not enough to simply wish for change, you must embody it. You must live from the assumption that what you desire is already yours. This means thinking, feeling, and acting as the person who already possesses everything they seek. It is not about pretending or forcing, but about truly believing in the reality of your new state. When you assume a new consciousness, your entire vibration shifts, attracting to you the people, opportunities, and circumstances that match it. The moment you change your state of consciousness, you set into motion an invisible process of transformation. The world may not shift instantly, but the change has begun. Just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, reality takes time to reorganize itself around your new assumption. Your only task is to remain faithful to the state you have chosen, trusting that what you hold within will inevitably be expressed without. No matter what your current circumstances may be, they are only a reflection of past assumptions. They do not define you, nor do they have the power to limit you. The only thing that matters is what you now choose to believe. Accept the truth that you are the creator of your experience, and you will no longer feel powerless in the face of life. You will understand that by shifting your inner world, you can shift any external condition. Reality is fluid, shaped entirely by consciousness. You do not need to change the world, you only need to change yourself. The outer world is simply a mirror. Change your inner state, and the reflection must follow. The key to manifesting anything in life is to assume and embody the feeling of already having it. Most people live in a state of wanting, constantly looking at their desires as something distant, something they must strive toward. But desire, when viewed as separate from you, remains just that, something outside of you. The secret is to step into the state of already having, already being, and already experiencing what you wish for. You must not wait for external confirmation before you believe in your new reality. You must claim it within first, and the outer world will follow. Everything you experience is shaped by your inner world, your beliefs, assumptions, and emotions. When you assume a state, you begin to think, act, and feel as if it were already true. And because consciousness is the only reality, what you persistently assume will eventually become your physical experience. The world does not operate on effort alone. It operates on vibration, frequency, and alignment. If you are constantly yearning for something, you are affirming its absence. But when you embody the feeling of already possessing it, you send out a signal that attracts it to you effortlessly. Think of a person who is confident in their wealth. They do not obsess over money, nor do they question whether they will have enough. They live with a quiet assurance that wealth is theirs. This inner knowing shapes their actions, their decisions, and their interactions with the world. They carry themselves differently, they speak differently, and opportunities naturally gravitate toward them. Contrast this with someone who feels financially insecure. They are always in a state of worry, fear, and lack. Their mind constantly affirms scarcity, and as a result, their world reflects that back to them. The difference between these two individuals is not in their external circumstances, but in their inner states. To assume and embody your desire, you must first ask yourself, if I already had what I want, how would I feel? This question is the gateway to transformation. Once you determine the feeling, you must cultivate it within you until it becomes your natural state. If you desire love, embody the feeling of being deeply loved and cherished. If you desire success, assume the confidence of one who is already successful. Do not wait for external proof. Act as though your wish is already fulfilled. One of the greatest obstacles people face is doubt. The logical mind wants to question, to seek evidence before believing. But reality does not work that way. The unseen comes before the seen. Your consciousness precedes your circumstances. Just as a sculptor sees the finished work in their mind before shaping the stone, you must see yourself as already possessing your desire before it takes form. The mistake many make is to wait for the world to change before changing their inner state. But the law is clear. What you assume within must be expressed without. A simple yet powerful exercise is to live each day as though your desire has already manifested. If you were already living in your dream home, how would you walk through it? If you already had the perfect relationship, how would you feel waking up next to your partner? If you were already successful, how would you approach your work? Embody these feelings now, and the world will rearrange itself to match them. It is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about shifting your consciousness to a new state of being. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts the impressions you give it. When you consistently assume a new state, the subconscious begins to accept it as truth. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself already living your desired reality, you impress that image upon your subconscious. If done with feeling and persistence, this image begins to solidify in your outer world. However, assumption is not just about visualization. It is about living in the state of the wish fulfilled. This means not contradicting your assumption with thoughts of doubt, fear, or impatience. Many people assume for a moment and then immediately return to their old state of lack, undoing the work they have done. True assumption requires faith and persistence. You must hold on to your new state regardless of what the outer world currently shows you. Think of a seed planted in the ground. You do not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. You trust that it is taking root, even when you see nothing on the surface. The same principle applies to your desires. Once you have assumed them, you must trust that they are unfolding even if there is no immediate evidence. The world may seem unchanged at first, but beneath the surface, forces are aligning in your favor. Your job is not to figure out how your desire will manifest. The how is not your concern. The moment you try to control the process, you introduce resistance. Your only responsibility is to maintain the assumption, to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and to let reality take care of the details. The path to manifestation will reveal itself in ways you could never predict, often through a series of seemingly natural events. This is not about blind faith, but about understanding the mechanics of consciousness. When you assume and persist in a new state, you activate a law that is as certain as gravity. You may encounter tests, moments where the old reality seems to fight back, but these are merely reflections of past assumptions. Do not be swayed by them. Remain steadfast, knowing that what you hold within must externalize. The moment you fully embody your desire, without needing external confirmation, is the moment you shift into alignment with it. You do not need to seek, strive, or beg for what is already yours. Walk as though you have it now, and reality will have no choice but to comply. The way you think, feel, and act in this present moment determines what unfolds in your life. Reality does not respond to wishful thinking or fleeting desires. It mirrors back your dominant state of being. If you desire wealth, success, or love, you must not wait for external circumstances to change before you feel worthy or abundant. You must embody that feeling now, living in the assumption that what you seek is already yours. When you carry yourself with the certainty of someone who has already received their desire, the world has no choice but to reflect that truth back to you. Most people live in reaction to what is. They look at their current circumstances and allow them to dictate their emotions and beliefs. If their bank account is low, they feel poor. If they are single, they feel unloved. If their career is stagnant, they assume they are not meant for success. But this is the opposite of how reality truly works. Your outer world is nothing more than a mirror of your inner state. It does not create your consciousness. It reflects it. If you continue to wait for circumstances to change before you feel different, you will remain stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same experiences over and over again. The power lies in shifting your internal state first. Instead of looking to the world for proof that you are successful, wealthy, or loved, you must cultivate that feeling within yourself. This does not mean forcing positivity or denying your current reality. It means choosing to align your thoughts and emotions with the version of yourself that already has what you seek. The more you persist in this state, the faster reality conforms to it. The key is consistency, remaining unwavering in your assumption, regardless of what your senses may tell you. Consider how a person who already possesses what you desire would think and behave. If you seek financial abundance, how would a wealthy person approach their day? They would not dwell on lack, stress over bills, or question whether money is coming to them. They would operate from a mindset of security, ease, and confidence. They would make decisions based on abundance, not fear. If you wish to attract love, how would someone who is deeply cherished and adored carry themselves? They would not feel desperate or unworthy. They would exude self-assurance, peace, and contentment. If success is your goal, how does a successful person move through life? They trust in their abilities, they take bold actions, and they know that opportunities flow effortlessly to them. When you begin to embody these qualities before the physical evidence appears, you activate the unseen forces that shape reality. Your energy shifts, and so does the way people and circumstances respond to you. You no longer operate from a state of lack, waiting for something outside of you to make you feel whole. Instead, you generate the feeling internally, and the world must mirror it back to you. Many people struggle with this concept because they have been conditioned to believe in the limitations of the physical world. They trust what their eyes see more than what their mind creates. But the truth is, what you see now is only a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. If you continue to react to the current state of things, you will keep creating more of the same. The only way to break free is to start seeing beyond the physical, to trust in the unseen, and to hold the assumption that your desire is already yours. Doubt is one of the biggest obstacles in this process. The logical mind wants to question, analyze, and demand proof, but manifestation does not operate on proof. It operates on faith and persistence. The moment you give in to doubt, you undo the work of assumption. If you plant a seed and constantly dig it up to see if it is growing, you will disrupt its process. The same applies to your desires. Once you have assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you must trust that it is unfolding, even if there are no immediate signs. Your job is not to worry about how your desire will come to pass. The how is never your responsibility. The mind is limited in its ability to predict the infinite ways in which reality can shift. The only thing you must do is remain faithful to your new state of being. The means will reveal themselves naturally through a series of seemingly ordinary events that in hindsight will appear perfectly orchestrated. The more you try to force or control the process, the more resistance you create. Let go of the need to figure it all out. Assume the feeling, persist in it, and allow reality to catch up. A powerful practice is to begin each day as if your desire has already been fulfilled. Before you even step out of bed, take a moment to feel the emotions you would feel if your manifestation were already a reality. Walk through your day with the confidence, joy, and ease of someone who already possesses what they seek. Speak, act, and think as if you are already living in that reality. This is not about pretending or tricking yourself. It is about shifting your inner state so completely that the world must conform to it. Think of an actor who fully immerses themselves in a role. They do not simply recite lines, they become the character. Their thoughts, emotions, and mannerisms align with the role they are playing, and in doing so, they bring that character to life. In the same way, you must fully embody the version of yourself who already has what you desire. When this becomes your dominant state, manifestation is inevitable. Patience and persistence are key. Many people give up too soon because they do not see immediate results. They assume that because nothing appears to be changing on the surface, their assumption is not working. But just as a seed grows beneath the soil before sprouting into view, your new reality is taking shape even when you cannot see it. The timing of its appearance depends on your ability to remain faithful to your assumption. If you waver between belief and doubt, you delay the process. But if you hold steady, refusing to entertain thoughts of failure or lack, your new reality will manifest in ways beyond your imagination. It is also important to detach from needing your desire to manifest in a specific way. The universe is limitless in its capacity to bring your assumption into form. If you become fixated on one particular outcome, you may block even greater possibilities. Hold your vision, but remain open to the infinite ways it can unfold. The feeling is what matters, not the specific details of how it arrives. The moment you stop looking outside for confirmation and start generating the feeling from within, you shift into a state of true power. You no longer chase, strive, or struggle. You simply are, living as if your wish is already fulfilled, knowing that reality has no choice but to reflect that truth back to you. Every experience in life is a reflection of your inner world. The thoughts you entertain, the emotions you dwell in, and the assumptions you hold shape the reality you live in. If you believe you are lacking, if you see yourself as someone who is always struggling, then life will continuously provide circumstances to confirm that belief. If you walk through the world feeling unworthy, people will mirror that back to you. If you carry the assumption that things never work out for you, you will find yourself in a constant state of frustration. You are always living in the reflection of what you assume to be true about yourself and the world. The key to transformation is recognizing that your assumptions are not passive thoughts. They are creative forces shaping the very fabric of your experience. If you assume you are abundant, life responds with abundance. If you assume you are loved, you encounter love in unexpected ways. If you assume success is inevitable, the path to success unfolds before you, often in ways you never could have planned. It is not about wishing or hoping, it is about knowing. Assumption is the act of accepting something as fact before it appears in the physical world. It is the unwavering belief that what you desire is already yours, even if the senses have not yet caught up. Most people live by the evidence of their senses. They look at their bank account, their relationships, or their circumstances, and use what they see to determine what they believe is possible. But reality does not work that way. The external world is a delayed reflection of the internal world. The thoughts you held yesterday, the emotions you dwelt in last week, and the beliefs you carried last month are shaping your current experience. If you want to change what you see, you must first change what you assume to be true. This requires a radical shift in how you move through life. You can no longer afford to be a passive observer, reacting to circumstances as they appear. You must take control of your inner world and decide with conviction that what you desire is already yours. Assume it boldly. Walk through life as though your wish is already fulfilled. Feel the joy, the relief, the excitement that you would feel if you had it now. Do not look to the outside world for validation. Let your assumption be enough. This does not mean ignoring reality or pretending something exists when it does not. It means understanding that reality is fluid, constantly reshaping itself to match your dominant state of being. You are not bound by what is. You are bound only by what you believe is possible. If you assume lack, you will see lack. If you assume wealth, you will see wealth. If you assume health, you will see health. It all begins with assumption. Consider someone who desires financial freedom but constantly worries about money. They may work hard, set goals, and take action, but if their dominant assumption is that money is scarce, they will continue to struggle. Their actions may be in the right direction, but their internal state contradicts their desire. The external world does not respond to effort alone. It responds to the assumption behind the effort. If this person shifts their assumption and begins to believe with certainty that they are financially abundant, they will start to see evidence of that belief. New opportunities will arise. Unexpected sources of income will appear, and they will begin to experience the wealth they assumed was theirs. The same principle applies to relationships. If someone believes deep down that they are unworthy of love, they will attract relationships that confirm that belief. They may meet people who treat them poorly, who are emotionally unavailable, or who reinforce feelings of rejection. But if they shift their assumption and begin to see themselves as deeply loved and cherished, the outer world must reflect that new assumption. They will encounter people who respect, appreciate, and adore them, not because they changed the external world, but because they changed their internal world. This is why assumption is the foundation of all manifestation. It does not matter how much action you take or how many affirmations you repeat. If your dominant assumption contradicts your desire, you will not see lasting change. Your subconscious mind accepts what you assume to be true, and it rearranges reality accordingly. This is why some people seem to attract success effortlessly, while others struggle for years with no results. It is not luck, it is not chance, it is assumption. Those who succeed assume they will succeed, and so they do. Those who fail assume failure is inevitable, and so it is. Doubt is the greatest enemy of assumption. The moment you question whether your desire is possible, you introduce resistance. Doubt is an assumption in itself, an assumption that what you want may not happen. The mind will always try to present reasons why your assumption is unrealistic. It will remind you of past failures, point out obstacles, and insist that reality does not change so easily. But the mind is only repeating what it has been conditioned to believe. The truth is, reality is far more malleable than most people realize. It is constantly being shaped by the assumptions you hold, whether consciously or unconsciously. To master assumption, you must learn to persist. You must hold to your belief, even when the outer world has not yet changed. You must remain unwavering in your conviction, knowing that your assumption is more real than what your senses tell you. If you assume wealth, do not let a temporary financial setback shake your belief. If you assume love, do not let an argument or a period of loneliness make you doubt. If you assume success, do not let a temporary failure convince you otherwise. These are simply echoes of past assumptions playing out. Stay firm in your new belief, and the world must conform. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen an assumption is to act in accordance with it. If you assume you're wealthy, carry yourself with the confidence of someone who is financially secure. If you assume you are loved, move through the world with the assurance of someone who is cherished. If you assume success, take actions as though success is already yours. This does not mean reckless spending, arrogance, or blind faith. It means aligning your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with the version of yourself that already has what you seek. The more you embody the assumption, the faster it solidifies into reality. At first, this may feel unnatural. The mind may resist, offering reasons why your assumption is unrealistic. But do not be discouraged. This is simply the old programming fighting to maintain control. The key is persistence. Continue to assume, continue to feel, continue to believe, and eventually the mind will accept the new reality as fact. And once it does, the world will change to reflect it. There is no force outside of you determining what you can or cannot have. You are the creator of your experience, shaping reality through the assumptions you hold. If you want something, assume it is already yours. Live in that assumption. Breathe it, feel it, walk in it. The world has no choice but to align itself with the reality you assume to be true. Everything in your life is a reflection of the state of being you persistently assume to be true. You cannot separate yourself from your assumptions, for they dictate what you experience. The world you see, the circumstances you encounter, and the people you interact with are all shaped by the dominant beliefs you hold. When you persist in a particular assumption, reality has no choice but to conform to it. The key is understanding that this process is not instantaneous. It requires faith, patience, and unwavering commitment to what you have chosen to believe. Most people waver in their assumptions. They may believe in abundance for a moment, But as soon as they check their bank account and see a number that contradicts their assumption, they revert to their old belief in lack. They may assume they are loved, but the moment they face rejection or loneliness, they begin to question their worth. This is why many never see the fulfillment of their desires. They do not persist. They let external circumstances dictate their inner world instead of holding firm to their chosen assumption. Reality bends to persistence, not to fleeting thoughts or momentary affirmations. The world does not change because you simply wish for it to. It changes because you persist in the conviction that it already has. This is the secret that so many overlook. When you assume something and hold to it without allowing doubt to creep in, the entire structure of reality begins to shift in response. The people you meet, the opportunities that arise, and the events that unfold all begin to align with the state of being you have claimed as your own. But you must remain steadfast in that assumption, regardless of what your senses tell you. Most people let circumstances dictate their beliefs. If they see evidence of failure, they assume they are failing. If they see a lack of progress, they assume their efforts are in vain. But the outer world is simply a reflection of past assumptions. And if you continue to react to what is, you will keep creating more of the same. You must break the cycle by persisting in a new assumption, even when there is no visible proof to support it. You must trust in the unseen, knowing that what you have assumed is already taking shape beneath the surface. There is no power in the external world greater than the power within you. Everything you see around you was once an unseen assumption. Every success story, every great achievement, every miraculous transformation began with an individual who dared to persist in their vision, even when there was no evidence to support it. They lived as if it were already true, and by doing so they called it into existence. You must do the same. Doubt is the greatest enemy of persistence. The moment you allow doubt to take root, you introduce resistance into your creation. The mind will always try to question, analyze, and rationalize. It will look at the external world and point out every reason why your assumption cannot be true. It will remind you of past failures, highlight obstacles, and insist that reality does not change so easily. But the mind is simply reflecting old conditioning. If you listen to it, you will remain stuck in the same cycle. You must train yourself to persist beyond doubt. When negative thoughts arise, do not entertain them. When circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, remind yourself that they are only temporary echoes of past beliefs. Hold firm to your new assumption as if your life depended on it. Speak it, think it, feel it, embody it. Do not allow anything to shake your conviction. If you persist, reality will have no choice but to shift. The reason so many fail to manifest their desires is that they give up too soon. They assume something for a day, a week, or even a month, but when they see no immediate change, they abandon their belief. They return to their old assumptions, reinforcing the same unwanted circumstances. But the truth is, the moment you assume something with unwavering persistence, it is already done. The only thing that delays its appearance is your own wavering belief. Consider the process of planting a seed. When you plant a seed in the soil, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust that beneath the surface, unseen forces are at work. You water it, nurture it, and give it time to grow. If you were to uproot it every time doubt crept in, it would never have the chance to take root. The same principle applies to assumption. Once you plant the seed of belief, you must nurture it with persistence, trusting that it will manifest in its perfect time. There is nothing in the universe that can deny you what you assume with full conviction. Reality is not separate from you, it is created by you. If you persist in the assumption that you are wealthy, the world will move in ways beyond your comprehension to bring that wealth to you. If you persist in the assumption that you are loved, love will find its way to you regardless of past experiences. If you persist in the assumption of success, opportunities will arise, doors will open, and circumstances will align to fulfill that assumption. But you must remain faithful to it, no matter what appears in the moment. You are not bound by time. The external world takes time to catch up to your inner world. But the moment you assume something, it is already real. You may not see the evidence right away, but that does not mean it is not in motion. Everything you assume with conviction is already set in motion, working behind the scenes to align itself with your belief. Your only task is to persist until the physical world reflects what you have claimed internally. The mind may try to convince you that you are lying to yourself, that you are delusional for assuming something that is not yet visible. But reality itself is an illusion, shaped by the assumptions you hold. The moment you fully embody an assumption, the illusion shifts to match it. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. There is no secret technique, no external force you need to seek out. The only thing required is persistence. Do not look to the world for confirmation. Do not seek validation from others. Do not waver when doubt arises. Simply persist. Persist in the feeling of already having what you desire. Persist in the belief that it is already yours. Persist until it becomes so natural that you no longer question it. And when you do, reality will bend to your assumption, for it has no choice but to reflect what you have persistently claimed as true. Reality is shaped by the assumptions you persist in, and when you fully commit to an idea, the external world has no choice but to conform. The moment you decide that something is yours and refuse to accept anything contrary to that belief, the universe reorganizes itself to bring your assumption into physical reality. The power to shape your world is not in effort, struggle, or external action. It is in the unwavering persistence of your assumption. Most people allow their assumptions to be dictated by what they see, hear, and experience. They look at their bank account and assume lack. They observe their relationships and assume loneliness. They assess their progress and assume failure. But all of these conditions are simply reflections of past assumptions, not fixed realities. If you continue to react to what is, you will only reinforce it. But if you choose to persist in a new assumption, despite what your senses tell you, you begin to alter the very fabric of your reality. There is no force outside of you dictating what you can or cannot have. The only limitation is your own willingness to persist. Every person who has ever achieved great success, overcome hardship, or transformed their life has done so by holding steadfastly to an inner vision. They did not let temporary setbacks deter them. They did not allow doubt to take root. They persisted in their belief, even when everything around them seemed to contradict it. And in time, reality yielded to their assumption. Your assumption is like a seed planted in the soil of consciousness. If you plant a seed and continuously dig it up to check if it is growing, you will only hinder its progress. In the same way, if you assume something and then doubt it, question it, or seek external validation, you disrupt the natural process of its manifestation. The key is to persist without wavering, to hold the assumption so firmly in mind that it becomes your dominant reality, even before the external world confirms it. Most people underestimate the power of their assumptions because they expect immediate results. They assume something for a day or two, and when they see no change, they revert to their old way of thinking. But reality operates on a delay. There is a period of unseen transformation before the physical manifestation appears. The only thing required during this period is persistence. Imagine a sculptor working on a block of marble. At first, the block appears unchanged. The sculptor continues chiseling, refining, and shaping, even though the final form is not yet visible. If the sculptor gave up after the first few strokes, the masterpiece would never emerge. The same is true of your assumptions. You must continue holding them, even when there is no visible sign of progress. Every moment you persist, you are shaping the unseen forces of reality. There is no greater power in existence than the persistence of an assumed belief. Everything you desire already exists in a state of potential. The only thing separating you from it is your ability to assume it as already yours. You do not need to know how it will come to pass. You do not need to force circumstances to change. Your only task is to persist in the assumption until it becomes so real in your mind that the external world has no choice but to reflect it. Doubt is the only thing that can delay or deny your manifestation. The moment you begin to question whether your assumption is working, you introduce resistance into the process. Doubt is the act of assuming something contrary to your desire. When you persist in an assumption, you cannot entertain its opposite. You cannot assume abundance while simultaneously fearing lack. You cannot assume love while doubting your worthiness. You cannot assume success while fixating on failure. The mind cannot hold two opposing beliefs at once. Whichever you persist in will become your reality. This is why persistence is the key to transformation. It is not enough to assume something for a moment or a day. You must live in the certainty of its truth, regardless of what the outside world appears to show you. When you persist in the assumption that you already own everything you desire, reality moves to confirm it. Doors open where there were none before. Opportunities arise in unexpected ways. People and circumstances shift in alignment with your belief. The world is a mirror, reflecting back to you the state of consciousness you occupy. If you want to change what appears in the mirror, you must first change within. Persist in the assumption that you are already the person who has what you desire. Walk, talk, think, and feel as if it is already true. Do not wait for evidence. Become the embodiment of your assumption now. When you persist in this way, the world cannot help but conform. The process is simple, yet most fail because they do not persist. They allow their senses to deceive them. They let external circumstances shake their belief. They listen to the doubts of others and question their own power. But those who persist, who refuse to accept anything less than the fulfillment of their assumption, are the ones who reshape reality itself. Nothing is outside your reach. There is no desire too great, no dream too distant. The only requirement is that you persist in the assumption that it is already yours. Do not concern yourself with how it will happen. Do not look to the world for confirmation. Simply assume, persist, and allow reality to catch up to your belief. When you do, you will see the world shift in ways that seem miraculous, yet were inevitable all along. There is nothing in this world that can deny you what you assume with unwavering conviction. The external world is not separate from you, it is shaped by you. The moment you claim something as yours and persist in that assumption, reality begins to shift in ways beyond your comprehension. You do not need to beg, chase, or force anything into existence. Simply live in the certainty that what you desire is already yours, and the world will adjust to reflect that truth. Doubt and hesitation are the only barriers to your manifestation. The moment you waver, you delay the fulfillment of your desire. But when you remain steadfast, refusing to let external circumstances shake your belief, you align yourself with the creative power that governs all things. You do not need to look for signs or seek proof. Persist in the assumption and the proof will appear. You hold within you the power to shape your reality. Persist, believe, and live as though you already own everything you desire. The world will respond accordingly, for it has no choice but to reflect the state of being you have claimed as your own. There is a power working within you, a force unseen but ever present, shaping the very fabric of your reality. You may look around and see obstacles, struggle, and pain, but what if I told you that right now, in this very moment, your story is being rewritten? The hand of God moves beyond human understanding, beyond time, beyond limitation. What you call delay, He calls preparation. What you see as failure, He sees as a necessary chapter in a grander design. You are not forgotten, nor are you forsaken. Though your mind may race with questions, though your heart may be heavy with burdens, rest now. Release the need to understand how or when. Your only task is to trust, to believe, to know with absolute certainty that God is at work in your life. The world may say that change is difficult, that transformation takes effort, But divine power does not operate through struggle. It works through surrender. You do not need to push or force, only to align. Your reality is a reflection of your belief. If you hold on to the story of struggle, you will continue to see it unfold. But the moment you release it, the moment you declare that God is rewriting your destiny, everything begins to shift. Circumstances rearrange, doors open where there were none, and people appear in your life as if drawn by an invisible force. That is the work of God. Silent yet unstoppable, unseen yet undeniable. You are not a victim of fate. You are a vessel through which divine power flows. The old story no longer serves you. It is done. The past is not your prison unless you keep carrying it forward. Let it go now. Breathe, rest, and watch as the impossible bends in your favor. Your only responsibility is to hold the vision of a life redeemed, restored, and overflowing with blessings. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to fight against. Stand still and know that God is working. The pieces of your life are falling into place with precision beyond your comprehension. You do not need to chase, to beg, or to plead. You are already chosen. You are already written into the story of victory. It is already done. Rest now and watch how God moves in your life. God moves in ways beyond human comprehension, beyond the logic of the mind, beyond the limits of what your eyes can see. You may believe your story is set, that your circumstances define you, but in the realm of the divine, nothing is fixed. The moment you let go of resistance, the moment you surrender the struggle and trust, the unseen hand of God begins to weave something new. You are not abandoned, nor are you forgotten. You are not the forlorn abused. You are being shaped, refined, and prepared for something greater than you have imagined. Right now, you may feel surrounded by challenges, but those challenges are not permanent. They are stepping stones. What seems like a dead end is merely a transition into a greater unfolding. The problem is not the situation itself, but the perception of it. You have been conditioned to believe in limitations, to accept lack, to expect struggle. But those are not divine truths. They are illusions created by the world. In the mind of God, your story has already been written in victory. The struggle is only there to awaken you, to teach you to turn inward, to trust in the unseen power that governs all things. Rest now. Cease the endless striving, the anxious wondering, the need to control every detail. The moment you step back, God steps in. The moment you release fear, divine favor rushes in to fill the space. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you to align with the truth that everything is already working for your good. The delays, the disappointments, the closed doors, they were never punishments. They were divine redirections. Gentle whispers from the universe guiding you towards something better. What you once called rejection was actually protection. What you thought was loss was preparation for increase. The mind cannot grasp the magnitude of God's work because it is conditioned by time, by logic, by past experiences. But God does not operate within those limits. The path may look unclear to you, but to the divine, every detail has already been arranged. Every connection, every opportunity, every breakthrough is already in motion. You do not need to figure out how, you only need to believe. When you believe without resistance, when you trust without questioning, the unseen becomes seen. That which was delayed suddenly appears. That which seemed impossible suddenly materializes. Your faith is the bridge between where you are and where you desire to be. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. It is standing firm in the unseen, fully convinced that what you seek is already yours. This is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind optimism. It is spiritual law. It is the way the universe was designed to function. What you hold in consciousness must reflect in your world. What you dwell upon with certainty must be drawn into form. Do not allow circumstances to dictate your belief. Do not allow the external world to shake your inner knowing. God is not limited by appearances, and neither are you. The situation you are in now is nothing compared to the power working behind the scenes. Everything you have prayed for, every desire placed in your heart, is already being fulfilled in ways you cannot yet see. The movement of God is often subtle at first, almost imperceptible, like a seed germinating beneath the soil. But in the divine order, nothing is wasted, nothing is stagnant. There is constant movement, constant unfolding, and when the time is right, the results will burst forth into reality in ways that will leave you in awe. Release the timeline. Let go of the need to know when, how, or through whom your blessing will arrive. These are not your concerns. Your only task is to hold the vision, to align your mind with what is already true in the divine realm. See yourself as already blessed. Walk as if the doors are already open. Speak as though your testimony is already written. The moment you assume this posture, reality bends to accommodate it. God is working in your life right now. Even in moments of silence, even when it seems like nothing is changing, there is movement. The foundation is being laid. The pieces are being positioned. You do not need to strive, to force, to make things happen. Your role is to trust, to align, to expect. The mind wants proof before belief, but the Spirit knows that belief is the proof. When you believe, you open the floodgates for divine favor. When you rest in the certainty of God's promises, everything shifts in your favor. You are not bound by what has been. The past has no power unless you give it permission to shape your present. Release the old story. Release the weight of past failures, past disappointments, past wounds. They do not belong in your future. They were part of the journey, but not part of the destination. Every setback was a setup. Every hardship was a lesson. But now it is time to step into the new, to embrace the reality that God has already made a way where there seemed to be none. Your life is not unfolding by accident. Every detail, every event, every person who enters and exits your life is part of a grand design. Nothing is happening to you, it is happening for you. Even in your waiting season, there is purpose. Even in moments of uncertainty, there is divine order. Trust that God is working even when you do not see it, even when you do not understand it. The most powerful transformations happen in the unseen. Seeds grow in darkness before they break through the soil. Miracles manifest in silence before they are announced to the world. There is nothing missing in your life. Everything you need is already within you, waiting for recognition. The shift does not happen outside of you, it happens within. When you recognize yourself as already chosen, already blessed, already in possession of what you seek, the world must conform to that truth. This is the divine law. It does not fail, it does not falter. It is as sure as the rising sun, as certain as the beating of your heart. You were not created to struggle, to beg, to chase after what is already yours. You were created to embody, to receive, to walk in the fullness of divine provision. There is no lack in God, no shortage in the realm of the unseen. The only thing that can block the flow of abundance is doubt, fear, and attachment to the old. But the moment you let go, the moment you decide to rest in trust, the floodgates open. Your story is being rewritten in this very moment. What was meant to harm you is turning for your good. What seemed like a delay is setting you up for acceleration. What felt like a loss is making room for overflow. Do not fear, do not worry, do not try to force what is already yours. Just rest, just trust, just allow the divine to work as it always does, effortlessly, perfectly, and in ways beyond what you could ever imagine. Rest in the knowledge that the forces of the divine are already aligning every detail of your life. There is nothing out of order, nothing missing, nothing lost. Even when your eyes see difficulty, even when your heart feels weary, the truth remains unchanged. God is working, and His work is perfect. Every perceived delay is a moment of preparation. Every closed door is leading you to the right one. You are not wandering without direction, nor are you forgotten in the process. You are being positioned for something greater than your mind can yet comprehend. It is easy to believe when the evidence is before you, when the blessings are visible, when the answers come swiftly, but faith does not require sight. Faith is knowing before the manifestation, believing without needing proof, trusting when nothing seems to be happening. It is in these moments of stillness that God is working the most. The foundation is being set beneath the surface, and when the time is right, what has been prepared in the unseen will become undeniable in the seen. You do not need to strive, to force, or to control the process. The greatest breakthroughs come not through struggle, but through surrender. The moment you release the weight of worry, the burden of doubt, the chains of fear, you create space for miracles. The divine does not work through tension, it flows through peace. When you rest in trust, you align yourself with the limitless abundance that was always meant for you. The mind seeks solutions, timelines, explanations. It asks when, how, through whom. But the divine operates beyond such limitations. The moment you let go of the need to figure it out, you step into the flow of divine ease. Everything begins to unfold in perfect harmony, not by your effort, but by the unseen hand guiding all things. There is no need to chase what is already destined for you. There is no need to force open doors that are being prepared to swing wide on their own. Your only role is to remain steadfast in your knowing, unwavering in your trust, unshaken by temporary circumstances. Everything you desire already exists in the realm of the unseen. The love, the opportunities, the breakthroughs, the healing is not being created, it is being revealed. It is not being withheld, it is waiting for you to align with it. The moment you declare that, it is already done. The moment you stand in the certainty that God has already made the way, the physical world must conform. This is the nature of divine law. It is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual truth. The world may tell you to work harder, to struggle more, to do more. But the divine whispers something different. It says rest, it says trust. It says, let go. The greatest miracles happen in stillness. The greatest transformations occur when you allow rather than resist. Every desire placed in your heart was placed there for a reason. Every vision you carry is a glimpse of what is already yours. Your job is not to question, not to fear, not to shrink back in doubt, but to rise in faith, to walk as if it is already done, to speak as though it has already come to pass. When you embody the energy of already having, the world responds accordingly. The unseen begins to move, the path begins to clear, the answers begin to appear. This is not coincidence. This is divine alignment. Everything you need is already being arranged. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances are all coming together in perfect timing. There is no need to rush. There is no need to fear. The divine never moves too soon, nor does it move too late. It moves precisely, perfectly, and always in your favor. The struggles of the past do not define the future. What has been does not dictate what will be. The moment you shift your focus from what was to what is possible, you unlock a new reality. The past has served its purpose. It has prepared you, strengthened you, shaped you, but it is not your identity. You are not bound to old patterns, old failures, old disappointments. You are being made new in this very moment. Every old chain is breaking. Every past limitation is dissolving. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, one that no longer clings to fear, but stands firm in faith. Every challenge you have faced was not to break you, but to build you. Every difficulty was not to defeat you, but to elevate you. You have been refined through the process, and now you are ready to receive the blessings that have always been meant for you. No effort has been wasted. No tear has gone unnoticed. Everything has been accounted for, and everything is turning in your favor. What was once a test will soon be your testimony. What once felt like struggle will soon be a story of victory. There is nothing too great for God. No situation is beyond His power. No obstacle is beyond His ability to remove. What seems impossible in human eyes is effortless in divine hands. The very thing that has seemed out of reach is already being placed in your path. The very answer you have been seeking is already on its way. There is no need to fight for what has already been written as yours. Simply align, simply believe, simply stand in the unwavering knowing that it is already done. You have spent enough time doubting. You have spent enough time questioning. Now is the time to step fully into faith. Now is the time to embrace the truth that God is working, that your story is shifting, that what you seek is seeking you. There is no separation between you and the life you desire. The only separation exists in belief. The moment you decide that it is already yours, the world must rearrange to reflect that truth. The moment you accept that divine favor is already upon you, the blessings must manifest in form. Rest now. Release the need to know every step. Release the need to see immediate proof. The proof is in the unseen, and soon it will be undeniable in the seen. The work has already been completed in the spiritual realm. The manifestation is simply a matter of alignment. Walk as though you have already received. Speak as though the prayer has already been answered. Move through life as though every door is already open. This is the posture of faith. This is the energy that accelerates miracles. God is not distant. He is not waiting for you to earn His favor, for you have already been chosen. You have already been marked for blessings beyond measure. The divine does not withhold, it only awaits your recognition. The moment you recognize yourself as already worthy, already abundant, already victorious, the world must comply. Nothing outside of you has power over your destiny. No circumstance, no past mistake, no external condition can alter what God has ordained. You are already positioned for greatness. You are already walking in divine favor. Allow the old to fall away. Allow the new to emerge. Let go of fear, of hesitation, of the need for control. Surrender fully to the knowing that your story is being rewritten. The chapter of struggle is closing. The chapter of abundance is beginning. There is nothing more for you to do, nothing more for you to force. Just rest, just trust, just allow. God is working in your life, and what is coming will exceed every expectation, every prayer, and every dream you have ever carried. It is already done. Every moment you rest in faith, you allow the divine to unfold miracles in ways beyond your understanding. There is no force greater than trust, no energy more powerful than unwavering belief. The mind may try to reason, to calculate, to analyze, but the ways of God are not bound by logic. They operate in the unseen, moving pieces into place in perfect harmony. What seems delayed is already in motion. What feels distant is already reaching for you. Your only task is to remain still in your knowing, for everything is happening exactly as it should. You have already been set apart for something greater than your current reality. The struggles you have faced were never meant to define you, but to prepare you. The pain you have endured was never meant to break you, but to refine you. Every challenge was a necessary piece of the story, leading you to this moment, this realization, this truth. You were never abandoned. You were never forsaken. The hand of God has been upon you all along, guiding, shaping. Even in the darkest nights, the divine light never left you. Even in the moments of deep uncertainty, heaven was orchestrating your breakthrough. What appears as silence is not absence. What seems like stillness is not inactivity. The unseen is more real than what the eyes can perceive. Every prayer has been heard. Every tear has been collected. Every longing of your heart has been acknowledged. And now the shift is taking place. Not because you fought for it, not because you forced it, but because you finally surrendered. The moment you release control is the moment divine power takes over. The moment you step out of the way is the moment the path clears. You do not need to push against the current, you need only to flow with the tide of destiny. There is no mistake in your journey, no experience has been wasted. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment was divinely permitted to bring you to something higher, something greater, something you could not have imagined for yourself. What you thought was rejection was redirection. What you saw as failure was preparation. You have not lost anything that was truly meant for you. What is yours cannot be taken, cannot be destroyed, cannot be blocked. It is sealed by divine decree, and no earthly force can undo what has already been set in motion. The doors that once seemed shut will open effortlessly. The opportunities that once felt out of reach will present themselves without struggle. The love, the abundance, the peace that once felt unattainable will flood into your life with ease. Not because you begged, not because you chased, but because you believed. The power of faith is the key that unlocks every divine blessing. The moment you trust in the unseen, you align with a force that is beyond human limitation. You step into the flow of miracles, where things unfold with divine ease, where battles are won without lifting a hand, where blessings chase you down instead of you chasing after them. This is the moment where you shift from waiting to receiving. You are not in a season of lack, but in a season of transformation. You are not being overlooked, but being prepared. Every time you rest in the knowing that God is working, you accelerate the process. Every time you release the need to figure it out, you make space for the divine to work in ways beyond your imagination. There is no need to strive. There is no need to worry. The outcome has already been determined and it is good. What if you stopped doubting? What if you stopped looking for signs and simply decided that it is already done? What if you woke up each day with the certainty that what you seek is seeking you, that what you desire is already unfolding? What if you spoke as if it had already happened, acted as if you were already living in the reality you long for? The world would shift. The circumstances would realign. The evidence would appear, not because the external changed first, but because your inner state became the magnet for the life that was always yours. Everything is a reflection of what you hold within. If you carry fear, you see obstacles. If you carry doubt, you see delays. But if you carry faith, you see movement. If you carry trust, you see doors opening. The choice is yours in every moment. Will you align with the fear of lack, or will you align with the certainty of divine provision? Will you dwell in the past, or will you step fully into the power of the present moment, where all things are possible? Your story is shifting in this very moment. Even if your eyes cannot yet see it, even if your hands cannot yet touch it, the transformation is happening beneath the surface. The divine blueprint of your life is unfolding exactly as it should. No mistake has been made, no effort has been in vain. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and everything is unfolding for your highest good. There is nothing more to do but trust, nothing more to force but to allow. The moment you let go of the struggle, you step into divine ease. The moment you stop resisting, the blessings flow. The moment you believe without condition, the manifestation begins. Rest now. The battle is no longer yours. The work is already being done. The victory is already won. God is moving, and your story is changing in ways you never imagined. There is no force in the universe greater than the divine will working on your behalf. Even when you cannot see it, even when it feels as if nothing is changing, the unseen hand of God is moving. There is no moment of your life that is outside of divine awareness. Every thought, every prayer, every unspoken desire of your heart is known, and when the time is right, what has been prepared for you will appear. Not by force, not by struggle, but by the effortless unfolding of divine timing. You do not need to strive for what is already yours. You do not need to chase what has been assigned to you. Everything is already set in motion. The answers, the breakthroughs, the divine opportunities, they are not distant, they are not far away. They are simply waiting for the moment when your heart is fully open to receive. And that moment comes not through worry, not through doubt, but through deep, unshakable trust. The more you release, the more you receive. The more you surrender, the more doors open. The human mind seeks control, seeks logic, seeks to understand, but the ways of God are beyond human comprehension. What may seem like delay is divine preparation. What may seem like silence is the setting of the stage. What may feel like unanswered prayers is the unfolding of something far greater than you imagined. If only you could see the grand design being woven on your behalf, you would rest in absolute peace. You would not question, you would not fear, you would not wonder if it is coming. You would simply know that it is already done. Every great story has moments of tension, moments where it seems like nothing is happening, moments where everything appears to be working against the main character. But those moments are never the end. They are simply the space before the breakthrough, the stillness before the transformation, the preparation before the victory. And so it is with your life. What you perceive as obstacles are merely stepping stones. What you see as setbacks are simply reroutes leading you to something better. The plan for your life is perfect, unshakable, unbreakable. No force on earth, no mistake, no misstep can undo what has been divinely ordained for you. The more you trust, the faster things move. The more you let go of the need to figure it all out, the more space you create for the divine to work in miraculous ways. There is nothing missing in your life. There is nothing you lack. Everything you need has already been provided for. The resources, the connections, the solutions, the opportunities, they are all being aligned right now. The only thing standing between you and their arrival is your willingness to believe without condition. What if you stopped doubting? What if you stopped looking at circumstances and simply decided that it is already done? What if you refused to entertain thoughts of lack, thoughts of fear, thoughts of limitation? What if instead you held a deep and unwavering knowing that all things are working for your good? The moment you shift your belief, the moment you decide that what you seek is already yours, reality bends to match your inner conviction. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. The divine mirrors back to you whatever you hold within. Hold worry, and you see reasons to worry. Hold faith, and you see reasons to believe. Hold gratitude, and you receive even more to be grateful for. There is nothing left for you to do but trust. You have done enough. You have asked, you have prayed, you have sought guidance. Now it is time to rest in the knowing that the answer is already on its way. The moment you release, the moment you stop grasping, everything begins to move in your favor. You do not need to struggle. You do not need to figure it out. The divine has already gone before you, preparing the way, aligning the details, setting the stage for the perfect unfolding. It may not come in the way you expected. It may not appear in the way you planned. But when it arrives, you will know that it was divinely orchestrated. Every detail will be perfect. Every moment will be aligned. And you will look back and understand why things had to unfold exactly as they did. You will see that nothing was lost, nothing was wasted. Every moment of waiting, every moment of uncertainty, every challenge was leading you to this, to something beyond what you could have imagined. If you could see the way God sees, you would not fear, you would not worry, you would not question, you would rest in perfect peace, knowing that all things are unfolding for your highest good. You would wake each day with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you can never be taken from you. You would walk with certainty, knowing that even when things seem still, heaven is moving on your behalf. The moment you step into this trust, the moment you let go of the need to control, the moment you stop doubting, everything shifts. Doors open effortlessly. Answers appear, miracles unfold, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them. Not because you struggled for them, but because you finally allowed them. The greatest breakthroughs come when you stop fighting and start trusting. The greatest blessings come when you stop chasing and start receiving. Rest now. Let go of the worry, the stress, the need to figure it out. It is already being taken care of. The divine is already at work. The story is already written. The victory is already won. What is meant for you is making its way to you in perfect timing, in perfect order, in perfect alignment. God is working, and nothing can stop what has already been set in motion. You do not need to chase what is already moving toward you. Every moment of your life has been accounted for. Every step, every breath, every pause. It is all unfolding exactly as it should. Even in the moments when you feel lost, when you wonder if your prayers have gone unheard, when it seems like nothing is changing, know this: God is working. The invisible forces of creation are aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways you cannot yet see. There is no wasted time, no missed chances, no wrong turns in the divine plan. What is yours, and nothing can take it away. The mind seeks reassurance. It looks for signs, for proof, for evidence that things are moving in the right direction. But faith does not require proof. Faith is knowing before seeing, believing before receiving, trusting before understanding. It is the unwavering confidence that, even in the silence, God is speaking. Even in the stillness, God is moving. Even in the waiting, God is preparing something far greater than you can imagine. What looks like delay is not delay. It is divine timing in motion. You were never meant to carry the weight of your future on your own. You were never meant to figure it all out by yourself. The burden of uncertainty, of trying to control the outcome, of worrying about the how and when, release it. It is not yours to carry. The moment you let go, the moment you surrender fully, is the moment things begin to shift. Miracles happen when you stop trying to force them. Breakthroughs come when you step out of the way and allow them. The path is already clear. It is only your doubt that clouds your vision. The moment you trust, the moment you rest, the moment you step into absolute faith, everything changes. There is no such thing as an impossible situation. There is no such thing as being too far gone, too late, too broken, too lost. Every circumstance, no matter how impossible it seems, is subject to divine transformation. The sickness that seems incurable, the financial struggle that feels overwhelming, the relationship that appears beyond repair, none of it is beyond God's reach. What seems unchangeable can change in an instant. What seems blocked can open in the blink of an eye. What seems broken can be made whole in ways you never imagined. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not alone. Even in your darkest moments, when you feel abandoned, when you feel like nothing is working in your favor, God is nearer than ever. He is whispering to your heart, guiding your steps, setting things in place for your highest good. The challenges you face are not signs of punishment. They are not evidence that you have been forsaken. They are the refining fire, the necessary preparation, the process that leads to transformation. Every story of greatness, every testimony of victory, every miracle that has ever unfolded began in a place of uncertainty. It began in the waiting, in the questioning, in the moments when nothing made sense. The difference between those who see the fulfillment of their prayers and those who do not is simple. Those who trust without wavering, those who believe even when there is no evidence, those who hold on to faith even in the face of impossibility, these are the ones who see mountains move. These are the ones who experience the supernatural. God is rewriting your story. What was meant for harm will turn for good. What was stolen will be restored. What was lost will be returned in greater measure. The pain, the struggles, the tears, they were never in vain. They were never without purpose. Every trial was shaping you, preparing you, strengthening you for what is to come. If you could see what is ahead, if you could glimpse the blessings that are waiting for you, you would not fear. You would not doubt. You would rest in perfect peace, knowing that everything is aligning in your favor. Nothing is too big for God. Nothing is beyond His power. He does not need time. He does not need logical solutions. He does not work according to human limitations. In an instant, He can open doors you never knew existed. In a moment, He can change everything. But He is waiting on you to trust, to let go, to believe fully without hesitation. You have prayed, you have hoped, now release it. Rest. Let go of the need to constantly question, to constantly seek reassurance, to constantly wonder if it will happen. It is already done. The moment you asked, the answer was set into motion. The moment you believed, the manifestation began. The only thing that remains is for you to receive. And receiving requires rest. Receiving requires surrender. Receiving requires stepping into the absolute knowing that what you seek is already yours. This is not about waiting. This is about trusting. This is about stepping into the reality where you know, beyond any doubt, that God has already worked it out. The more you rest in this truth, the faster things unfold. The more you align your heart with divine assurance, the more effortlessly things fall into place. This is the way of miracles. This is the way of divine manifestation. Your story is not over. Your journey is not finished. The best chapters are still being written. The most beautiful moments are still ahead. The breakthrough you seek, the answer you long for, the change you have been praying for, it is closer than you think. Trust, rest, and know that God is working in your life in ways beyond what you can see or imagine. So now, release the worry, the fear, and the need to understand every step. Let go of the resistance, the doubt, and the constant questioning. God has already set everything in motion. Your only task is to trust, to rest, and to receive. What is meant for you is already yours. The transformation, the breakthrough, the answered prayer, it is unfolding even now. Do not let your mind convince you otherwise. Walk in faith, speak in faith, think in faith. The same God who has brought you this far will not fail you now. Stand firm, believe, and watch as your story is rewritten in ways far greater than you ever imagined.